Hey guys, Games with Chin here, and today we are doing an accessibility review on Dungeons & Dragons Dark Alliance on the Xbox Series X. Now, as usual, we won't be discussing the gameplay or the mechanics, the loot, anything like that. We'll be discussing just the accessibility portion of this game, and, well, there's not a lot in terms of accessibility. Let me rephrase that. We'll be discussing accessibility for range of motion. I am not hearing impaired or listening impaired, so I don't want to discuss disabilities that I don't have. It wouldn't be fair for me to do so. So, just range of motion. But getting back to it, there's not a lot of accessibility here. There's no ability to remap the buttons. There's only two different profile schemes. One of them has the attack buttons as the shoulder buttons, the RB and RT, and the other one has the attack buttons as the face buttons, X and Y, which is the one I went with. And a lot of the buttons are pretty standard for what you would expect. You know, your left analog stick, you click it, you toggle your sprint. Your pad, the D-pad, is what uses your items, your healing potions and stamina potions and things of that nature. I had to remap several of my buttons on my Xbox, so off the top of my head, I don't remember what they natively did. But as far as ease of play, the game isn't too hard, but there's a lot of accessibility I think that could have been added that would have really made the game easier to play. The biggest one is using your ultimate ability. You have to click the left analog stick and the right analog stick simultaneously. You have to click them simultaneously in order to activate your ultimate. And I think that was a really difficult thing. It's really difficult. It would have been really nice if there had been a way where they could have made it a one-button press. You know, if you could have went in, remapped all your controls, and just had it be one button. Boom, press it, you activate your ultimate. I don't know why they didn't do that, but they didn't. There's also a lock-on feature, which you just press with the right analog stick, but it's not super great. It locks on, but it tends to get at an angle where it's really, really difficult to utilize, in my opinion. It's not like over the character's shoulder, really. It's like a lowered camera view behind his middle of his back, and it's kind of wonky, so I don't really think it's a very viable thing, to me anyway, in my opinion. It would have been great if they would have given you the ability to remap everything. And I know I bring this up every time, but legacy sticks, that is such a big, just so helpful for someone with range of motion who may not be able to navigate two analog sticks simultaneously. And for those who don't know what legacy sticks is, it's where legacy sticks, one analog stick, like your left analog stick, which moves, would be press up to run forward, down to run backwards, left to turn the character left, right to turn the character right. The right analog stick would be, depending if you're inverted or not, up, you look up or down, down, you look up or down, left, you strafe left, and right, you strafe right. Now that's so important because, again, for those who can't navigate two analog sticks simultaneously, that gives you the ability to run and turn and be able to keep up with online players, as well as just turn and keep up with the monsters, because they're constantly jumping around and moving around. And lock on, while it does lock on to one monster, it's still, the way the environments are set up, you have to look out for cliffs that you can roll off of or fall off of. You have to look out for exploding barrels. You have to look out for tons of monsters. I mean, you're always outnumbered. And there's several monsters that have AoE attacks that you have to constantly look out for. So there's just a lot that is happening at once that would be great for players who can't navigate two sticks at once to have that. I think another feature that could have been really helpful would have been toggle aim. You have to hold down the left trigger in order to bring up your aim cursor and then press your attack button to do your ranged attack. And again, for someone with range of motion issues, that's just not super feasible, especially with, in this game, you have to have all of your face buttons. You really do, because B is your evade button, you need that. A is your jump button, you need that. And X and Y for the control scheme 2 is your attack buttons. Well, you need that too. Those are also important. And I'm pretty sure if you have profile 1, it's jump as A, evade as B, X is interact. So if you want to revive someone or open a treasure chest, you need that. And Y is your ability. So those are all the face buttons. They just really can't be changed or moved around to the top part of the controller because they're so important. So toggle aim could have been really, really helpful here, and I wish it would have been a feature. Other than that, the game is a good game. The accessibility is definitely... unfortunately, it's not super there for range of motion people. And it was made in a way that is just it can be a little difficult. Same with blocking. You gotta hold down the button, which I at least get it in that regard, because if you time the block right as the monster hits you, it's a parry. So I get why you have to hold that down more so than toggle. There should be a toggle aim, just flat out, because it could really come in handy to have ranged attacks, but maybe in the future. Other than that, I think that's about it. The game is solid. It's a good game, but those are, in my opinion, things that could really elevate the game in terms of accessibility. The sprinting is, like I said, standard. I get why they didn't do auto sprint, because if you did auto sprint, well, when your stamina rejuvenates, if you sprint, it stops rejuvenating until you stop sprinting. So I get why they didn't do an auto sprint, but maybe if you tap the analog stick, the move stick forward twice, they run as an alternate option. That could be really helpful, because that would free up that left clicker, the left analog stick clicker, where you could use it as another button. And I think that could actually be really helpful, but just my opinion on how the game operates. But other than that, I definitely recommend it. It's a good game. So, in the immortal words of one Bill and Ted, be excellent to each other.